I've been working in the computer graphics industry for about 20 years. I started in college where I was interning for NASA and I was doing computer simulations for spacecraft missions.
I've been working professionally in audio for 18 years. I've been the owner of Paradigm Productions for 14 years.
The Urban Photo Company started out primarily as a photo studio, but then I started expanding the other things like graphic design and then video production, which includes producing and directing.
I've been involved in Fearing's audio-video security since 1997. I've been involved in electronics since 1976.
We're the owners of Blame Society Productions, and we've been freelance independent filmmakers for the last 8 years.
Since then, I've progressed through the ranks of animation supervisor, visual effects supervisor, and eventually I got to the position where I'm owning animation companies.
For years, I worked with every studio in town and freelanced at all the different places and kind of learned the tricks of the trade.
We do audio-video security, installations of anything from video conferencing systems to background music systems for a restaurant.
Blame Society Productions covers all aspects of video production, from pre-production and script writing through the shooting and into editing and post-production. We also do most of our own acting and some voiceover work.
I worked my way from more of a technical engineering type of computer animation background to feature film character animation, which is really what I wanted to do.
I've done mastering work for Steve Vai. I've done mastering work for Jimi Hendrix Foundation and for Fender Guitars and MTV I did some audio for. That we got to do an ad for Obama for America.
I was very lucky to do an album with Leo Sidran a few years ago for Clyde Stubblefield, the funky drummer. He used to play with James Brown, and I got to do a CD cover for him that's still one of my favorites to this day.
We started out with 5 employees in 1997, and we're at 22 employees today.
I've had the pleasure of working on a few albums that received Grammy nods over the years.
In 2006, we made an internet series that went viral. It's called Chad Vader. It's about Darth Vader's younger brother who works in a grocery store.
The series as a whole has gotten over 50 million views at this point and has a worldwide audience.
For me, what it took to become an animator and become successful at it was self-discipline and passion for what I'm doing.
You have to love what you're doing.
Communication skills. So much of what we do is communicating with people and figuring out what their needs are and how to get there. And without that communication, I've seen several people lose touch with their client.
In our world, we're always dealing with customers, so you need to be good with people. You can take sales training courses that help you in that.
There are a lot of prima donna photographers in this world, and I think that just hiring a nice person who works well with people, and is genuine, that would be one of the main qualities I look for.
And if the customers love you, along with just liking your technical ability, they like you, it can enhance your ability to generate income tremendously.
It's really important when you're a freelance artist to network and establish a connection, not only with other collaborators, but with your audience. Getting audience feedback is totally essential.
Rather than sending out a blind resume or letter and saying, I'll come work for you and empty the trash for free, I get about 50 of those every month. What I'd rather have is someone who can bring something to the table. Someone who can say, hey, do you know what? I've got a couple bands that I'm working with on sort of a management level, or I want to produce these bands. Can I bring them in and we can work together on this, or I will produce what you engineer?
Well, education's important. What kind of educational background do you have that's relative to what we're hiring?
Continued education and practice is how you become great at this business.
You definitely need some sort of formal education in the technical side of it.
It's really the combination of the technical and the creative mixed together that will make you successful in the industry.
There's always the strive to be not just good, but be the best at what you're involved in. And that has carried me and kept driving me.
Some of the hard things about what we do is the background work that most people don't see. The glamorized MTV vision of what I do is not what I do. And I have to do billing, I have to empty the trash, the carpet needs to be cleaned.
Schlepping gear If you gotta load that van, unload the van all the time, and you're doing it by yourself, it'll do a number on your back.
It's a learned discipline, and it can get tedious at times.
You have to do the tedious stuff to get to the fun stuff.
You really have to be willing to do any job that's required.
If you're coming out of the educational world, you have to be willing to start at the bottom.
To do jobs that other people either frown upon or are unwilling to do it, and to be really humble about it.
Another difficult thing is occasionally you have someone who's very difficult to work with.
You quite often can be counselor/therapist to your subject matter, because a lot of people don't like to be photographed. And when you spend an hour or two trying to convince them that they look great and they just fight you the whole time, that can wear you.
The truth is that it takes a lot of effort and a lot of hard work that people are just not expecting when they get into the business. So it could take you a week to do a second of animation on a film project.
Keeping up with technology. Our industry changes so fast that what you're installing today could be obsolete a year from now.
You have to keep up with the latest technology, and I think it's important to have a good business sense along with that.
I didn't know I was gonna have to be a business person. Now I have this person offering me a job. How much do I charge them? How much is this photo worth? How long is this going to take me?
You know, we're in an exciting industry, but you still have to come to work every day.
You gotta get up and you gotta be there on time and you gotta do that, but that's what everyone gripes about at their job, you know. Every day's a little different, and it's not the same, oh, I gotta go back to work and do the same thing today that I did yesterday.
It's always something different. One day you can be photographing a product, and the next day you're photographing some, junior celebrity.
Most studios have a pretty relaxed working environment where they don't have punch clocks where you come in at 8 in the morning and leave at 7 at night.
You know, it never gets boring in this industry. You know, technology is changing so fast, keeping up with it, you never get bored.
Incomes are all over the place in the engineering production side of things.
One of the really attractive things about getting into the animation business in general, either through feature film or television or computer games, is that the income potentials are really great.
Someone working maybe at an associate engineer level can probably expect for part-time work $10,000 to $20,000 a year.
Entry-level wages in this field of what we do really, they start probably in the low 30s.
Full-time work, $30,000 to $40,000 a year.
Entry-level positions could easily get $45,000 to as much as $60,000 for your first job. It's not unheard of.
You know, you can be on the 80,000 side, on the high side, possibly even higher if you have an engineering background.
As you progress in ranks, senior animators or senior developers can easily earn over $100,000 and top out even close to $200,000 in really big studios like Disney.
Revenues have gone from $500,000 the first year to over $4 million last year.
Income potential is unlimited. It depends on how much drive you have and how much work you want to do.
Obviously, the more you can bring to the table, the more clients you can attract, your income goes up from there.
I think once you establish yourself and people really start to know your work and who you are, I think your income will reflect that. I just love the fact that I can make a living being creative. I think that's the biggest reward that anyone could ask for.
When you see the final product on screen, it's just an amazing thrill to see your work come to life.
It's fun creatively being involved in someone's project. It's rewarding to be able to create their art or help them hone their art.
I just love what I do. It's fun to get up in the morning and work on a new piece of animation or work on a new game, coming up with new concepts for stories, and it's just really both creatively and technically challenging, and it's a lot of fun.
We took this idea out of our heads, put it down on a piece of paper. That piece of paper became a script. That script became a video. That video became a series of videos, and now it's watched by people all over the world. And that's a pretty amazing thing, and it's something I never knew I could make happen. And it's a great thing to aspire to.
You have to shoot high, shoot for the stars. Who knows where you'll fall. If you don't shoot for the stars, you're going to end up nowhere. So we shoot for the stars.